This is really happening. I'm having a podcast. I'm having a podcast. I'm having a podcast. It's been a long time coming, but welcome to Salty Bake Club. This is my very first podcast episode, and when this airs, it's gonna be my birthday. So yes, you may come over and wish me happy birthday. I will be in Italy then, but right now, and I'm gonna paint the picture for all of you who are not watching this but only listening, I'm sitting in my living room with a pile of croissants surrounding me. That's because, well, you know what? Just go over to my Instagram, find me, Salty Bake Club. It's gonna make sense. I am sitting here and the scenery plus the circumstances could not be more imperfect. That week, where after 3 years, I'm finally deciding to record the very first episode for my podcast, everything you could imagine went wrong. And I'm still sitting here. Because there comes a point when you always have to ask yourself if you want to do it or if you want to do it perfectly. In my work, a big intention these days is better than perfect. And the brilliant Dr. Brené Brown opened her very first ever podcast episode with explaining what an FFT is. A fucking first time. And you know what? I'm pretty sure it's not just me, but it sucks to not be perfect at something. It sucks to suck at something, right? It's not a comfortable feeling if you don't have the knowledge, the experience, and thus the confidence yet to do something just like you imagined. We're getting bombarded with pictures of perfect sceneries, perfect people, perfect lives because of social media and because we all wear masks, right? Whenever we come together, there's so little people who dare to shine just how they are, who do not try to cover up what they don't like about themselves. I know that we all aspire to be authentic. This is such a big word. I'm seeing so many authentic relating trainings and how to be your authentic self. And it baffles me. And at the same time, I get it so deeply that it's such a big challenge to be who you truly are. In fact, when I was a child, I was so insecure, crippling insecurity, that I was too scared to raise my hand when I didn't understand what the teacher was saying in school. I didn't have many friends. I got mobbed quite a bit. What I want to highlight is the path that I've walked so far. There was a pivotal point in my life where I just could not bear feeling like that day to day anymore. So I started doing things that scared me. I started raising my hand. So I started doing exactly those things that gave me the biggest scaresies. And I'm still trying to do that. This is why I'm sitting here today. I thought a lot about why that is, right? Why do we all wear those masks? Why do we hide? Why is it so hard for us to be authentic? And I think it's Carl Jung that said, a lie would not make any sense if the truth wasn't perceived as dangerous. We perceive being ourselves as dangerous. And I'm not saying that we're lying when we put on those masks or these shields. We are just in constant fear of judgment. And if you don't do anything to strengthen your faith and your courage and that bravery muscle to do it anyway, then you're going to live in that constant fear. And I do believe that is how a lot of people spend their lifetime. And I just don't want to be like that, right? I am willing to fuck up. I'm willing to fall. I'm willing to look like a fool in front of you. And at some point, I'm sure I will, but that is fine with me, because looking like a fool is so worth it, right? It is so worth if on the other side stands that greatness and the liberation that you feel when you don't hide anymore. And I know that the internet is a scary place. I know that there is a lot of judgment around. And I do have a little yoga community. I'm gonna introduce myself to you in a little bit. But to finish that sentence, that judgment, right? It's gonna hit me. I know that. And I want to be as resilient as I can to not close up in fear anymore whenever somebody comes and writes a hurtful comment under this blog post. But here we go. For all the ones who know me, this is a reintroduction, and you will definitely learn a lot of new things about me. For all the ones who don't know me, I'm Sarah. Hi. I'm glad you're here. This is my living room. I will have a podcast room, and you all will grow with me. My podcast will grow with me, but it's not ready yet. I have to sparkle it, I have to paint it, I have to put my new furniture in, and it's gonna come in given time. I'm 32 years old today, and I have just found my home. I've lived quite an unconventional life the last 7 years. I've been traveling a lot. I've been living in Bali. I've been based in Turkey for a little while. I've been traveling over almost all of the continents. And now I came back to my city, and all of a sudden it feels different. All of a sudden it does feel like a home. And all of a sudden everything clicked for me, and the universe, or the power behind it, has guided me to that moment that I longed for such a long time. I'm at home here now in Austria. What I do is I teach yoga teacher trainings. So I run a little yoga school with my brilliant business partner, who is such a boss. And you know what? I'm in my 30s and I'm feeling quite fulfilled. And even though that sounds very dreamy, I will also highlight that it's so not perfect. I have so many moments where I struggle and it's hard. So please do not fall into that trap of watching that person on the internet and thinking she's got it all together. So the yoga teacher trainings I am teaching, they reflect my biggest successes in life. Because as I told you, when I was a kid, I was very, very, very isolated from the world around you. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm standing in front of numerous people. I'm guiding their bodies, and I will say their hearts, in space and in their bodies. And I'm speaking, right? I'm sharing my voice. I'm doing exactly what I was so afraid of. And you know what? I couldn't love it anymore. It fills my heart, and maybe it's naive, but I do believe it is my purpose. A little yoga teacher training community runs under the name Trees and Stories. And the trees reflect the connection that we need, right? Because trees under the ground, they have a net, an interwoven net of their roots. And within these roots, they transmit signals that go so fast that will inform the other trees of eventual dangers. So for example, when one tree doesn't get enough light, it sends those signals through the roots, and the other trees, they stop their growth for a little bit so that the other tree isn't lost behind. So in those yoga teacher trainings, I speak a lot about our invisible connection. Now the stories, that's the part that is tricky, and that's the part that I'm going to tackle here a lot. The stories is what we have to open up about, right? We have to share our stories and who we truly are so that others can create that connection, that trust, and that relationship. So Trees and Stories is my first baby, my first little precious thing that I created, and it has my heart. But now also this podcast is a little new baby of mine, and I cannot wait to pour my stories, what I'm living through, what I'm struggling with, into that podcast daily. And it was really important for me to not make it about yoga. I want to make it about life. I want to make it about all the things that we all face while walking in these human body earth suits through life. Even though it's like a lottery win to have that life, it's also not easy. It is freaking tricky because of all that judgment, right? Because of how we lock ourselves into those situations to rather stay safe and comfortable than be brave. Actually, there is this number, the Dunbar number, a Dunbar number. Dunbar was a very famous anthropologist. He realized that there is an edge, a number of people, all groups existing over that number, which is approximately 150 people. They do need something that they all believe in. Now, what am I saying? Apparently, we cannot exist as a society as a whole if we do not have any belief that we share. That does not have to be a religion, right? In the old days, it probably was, but we don't all have to believe in Shiva or Allah or God or the universe or whatever you want to call it to be connected. It can be as simple as recognizing that there is something bigger, and we're not going to give it a name. It can also be, you know what, it can be something simple as worshiping pastries. It can be the mutual effort towards a project, right? And the belief in that project. But it is fascinating to me that if we don't share a belief, we are not able to coexist. We know that. And yet, in the society that we live in, we do nothing but judge and separate from each other. So that is the goal of Salty Pig Club. I want to be a person who shows herself imperfect with all the struggles that life throws towards me, but also with the beauties, right? With the sweet and creamy moments. I want to be a person who stands up and who's not afraid of that judgment, who's not sitting in her seat and staying silent. And here's the thing, I am a really good example for a human who has a lot of facets. Like I've lived a lot of, I even want to say I lived a lot of lives within that one life. I've been changing and evolving so much so that it's really hard for some people to comprehend. Because for some people, they will always perceive me as that one person that they got to know. And it would be easy to let them believe that, right? But I want to be an example of a human who's not afraid of showing her whole facets, right? All my many sides and faces. Because I think that is what makes it super interesting. And if I'm thinking about my friends, all those people who are close to me, they're usually people who've gone through shit. It's a really weird common determinative for friends, but all those people that I hold close to my hearts have grown resilient over struggles, over times in their lives when there was a lot of trouble and fear. And I seem to love those people who are unafraid to step out of their comfort zone, to grow and to evolve. And I want to champion that. I want to inspire you to do that one thing that you are so afraid of doing. I want to be a very imperfect example of a person who's courageous enough to do it, to fuck up, but do it anyway. You might be wondering why the Bake Club? Well, because I love baking. Because we're going to talk a lot about all those things that are hard in life. And without sugarcoating you, I will also bring you the fluffiness, right? To bring you the sweetness. And the salt in Salty Bake Club is a crucial part. Because if you're a baker, you might know this. If you're not, this might be new to you. But if you put salt in a sweet thing, you're gonna enhance the flavor profile. What I'm saying is that you will feel the flavor deeper in that dish. It's gonna linger longer on your palate. So a pinch of salt is making everything more flavorful. So welcome to Salty Bake Club. I'm beyond excited to be with you here, and I can't wait to hang out more. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please find me on Instagram. I will say I need followers because I'm starting from the scratch. And you know what? I love you and I believe in you. And I'm so freaking grateful that you've listened until now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Come by next week, hang out with me on Instagram, text me, and yes, wish me happy birthday. Thank you. I love you.